Hello again, chaps and chapettes. How are we all doing? It is lovely to see you all again. As always, as I'm sure you've all heard by now, my friends, about Keir Starmer's new branch of Stasi police that are going to be coming into action very, very shortly to police, I believe it's called People's Anti-Immigrant Sentiment, which basically means we're going to have SWAT teams, the UK variation of a SWAT team, abseiling down from helicopter wires, kicking down the door of Fred and Phyllis down the road, who's lived here for 75 years, and get them on the floor, taser them maybe, and arrest them for having Brexity things in their house and reposting questionable Facebook posts. So I thought we'd breeze through this Daily Telegraph article about the entire subject, my friends, and then we're going to talk about why it's deemed to failure, just like everything else that's come out of the Labour Party during the last, 12 or 13 months, however long it is. God, this writing's tiny. It's like reading off pissy microfilm. Right. An elite team of police officers is to monitor social media for anti-migrant sentiment amid fears of summer riots. Detectives will be drawn from forces across the country to take part in a new investigation unit that will flag up early signs of potential civil unrest. The division assembled by the Home Office will aim to maximise social intelligence gathering after the police forces were criticised over their response to last year's riots. Were these things really riots, guys, last year? If people remember or indeed lived through the Brixton riots, for example, or the Toxteth riots, or the poll tax riots, they were riots. Days upon days, cars being burnt out, shops being smashed to bits, people's homes being smashed to bits. That's a riot. In my own humble opinion, what happened up and down the country after Southport, a few Evian bottles got launched, some police horses got sworn at, one or two people had one too many, Stella's got a little bit rowdy, and that was about it. Again, at least in my own humble opinion. They were rowdy protests, at most. It comes amid growing concerns that Britain is facing another summer of disorder as protests outside asylum hotels spread. And why are they spreading, I hear you ask? Because people have had it up to here with being taken advantage of and having horrific crimes committed against them by people who shouldn't be here. Anti-immigrant sentiment right there, guys. That's 15 years for me. Bye-bye. On Saturday, crowds gathered in towns and cities including Norwich, Leeds and Bournemouth to demand action, with more protests planned for Sunday. Angela Rayner warned the Cabinet last week that the government must act to address the real concern that people have about immigration. Well, quelle fucking surprise, I'm actually agreeing with Angela Rayner here. That gin-pickled hooer is actually spot on. The government needs to start listening to the real concerns that the British public have. Otherwise, if social media is taken away, look what happens, or look what will happen, to be more precise. But critics on Saturday night branded the social media plans disturbing and raised concerns over whether they would lead to a restriction of free speech. Of course they will. If you can't say certain things on social media within reason, I mean going around calling people the N-word on a daily basis, going out of your way to be overly racist, then apart from that, you should be able to say what and when you fucking please. That is what free speech is all about. If someone chooses to get offended by it, who gives one solitary shiny shite? That's on them. That's their problem. The whole point of free speech is to be able to say, within reason, what you want to say. If someone chooses to take offence over it, then go and cry in the corner, quietly, and shut up about it. It's quite simple, my friends. Chris Philp, the Shadow Home Secretary, said two-tier Keir can't police the streets, so he's trying to police opinions instead. They're setting up a central team to monitor what you post, what you share and what you think, because deep down they know the public don't buy what they're selling. Labour have stopped pretending to fix Britain and started trying to mute it. This is a Prime Minister who's happy to turn Britain into a surveillance state but won't deport foreign criminals, won't patrol high streets and won't fund frontline policing. Now, I just want to go through quickly, guys, why this is actually doomed to fail. If this does indeed go through, which it will go through, and people's opinions and thought process is starting to be heavily policed, and people are going to come knocking on your door and trying to arrest you for what you say, that is going to create what this specialised unit is being made to stop. If people can't take to social media, because that's some people's only outlet, I've said this before in past videos, you can't keep pent-up aggression and anger locked inside you forever. You have to release it in some way. And some people use social media for releasing that valve. They can say what's on the mind freely. They can release their anti-immigrant sentiment with freedom. That's what freedom of speech is supposed to be. That's what's supposed to be living in a free, democratic society is supposed to be. So once that's taken away by Keir Starmer's Stasi police, people have only got one thing to turn to, and that is dissidents on the streets. If you can't voice your opinion online, people will simply go out onto the street and do it there. It could become very rowdy as people are pissed off at having a padlock permanently attached to their mouths. It could turn violent, and it very well could turn into a civil war. Could be riots up in Newcastle, Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, London, East Anglia, up in Scotland, and in Northern Ireland as well. And before you know it, everyone is at each other's throats because people are simply fed up of migration and fed up of being told to shut up by Keir Starmer's Stasi police. Ergo, it's doomed to fail, and fail in a spectacular fashion, I do believe. Well, that's my video, guys. Before I go, I do want to say my videos for the next 3, possibly 4 weeks are going to be a little bit sparse. They're going to be a bit here and there because, and yes, I do feel a little bit sad for saying this to you, I'm a little bit preoccupied with a new video game over on Xbox. It's called Wu Chong Fallen Feathers. If anyone gives a shit, it's a bit of a Dark Soulsy, Elden Ring type of game. I'm really enjoying it. The bosses are giving me a little bit of jip, but I think that's because I'm approaching middle age now and my reaction response time isn't what it once was. Yes, I am sad enough for a video game to take up that much of my time. I'm not going to disappear completely. Might just be a little bit sparse, 3, 4, possibly 5 days between each video. So yeah, if I do go MIA, don't worry, I'm not dead and I'm not locked up. Well, hang on, mind you, Keir Starmer's Stasi police might see that differently. I've got quite a bit of anti-immigrant sentiment on my channel and on my community tab, so I could be looking at 15 years. Who knows? Anyway, my friends, Carpe Diem. Let me know what you think in comments, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.